Come what may, bring it on. I'm gonna love it.
Welcome to LDS Unmarried Life, a podcast for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who find themselves single either because they're widowed, divorced, or not yet married. There is no affiliation with the church. And my name is Annette Bybee, and I am your host, or hostess. I always say something different every time. But we are continuing with our last discussion with our round table. Last time we were talking about whether women should ask men out, and I think we all agreed that they should not.
No.
Just kidding. You have to listen to find out. All right, but we're going to go around and introduce ourselves for those that didn't listen to the last one, and plus we have a new member. So my name is Annette Bybee. I have my podcast on AnnetteTalks.com, and I invite you to go there and listen. And you can also listen on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, yada, yada. Anyway, I am 50 years old. I've been divorced for 3.5 years, and I have 3 daughters. We'll go to Derek.
Hi, my name is Derek Wilson. I am 32 years old, never been married, no children at this time.
My name is Russ, never been married, no kids, old enough to know better, and too young to care.
I guess that's the tagline. That's Russ's tagline. All right.
Well, hi, I'm Drew. I've been divorced about 3.5 years, have 5 kids.
All right.
Emily Ulmer, I have 3 children, and I'm a mid.
You're a mid? Like mid-single? Is
You're
that what you're trying
mid?
to say?
Exactly.
We're all kind of confused for a second there.
My
I was
age is-
mid-sentence on that one.
You're a mid.
I'm mid.
You're a mid.
I'm 42.
All right. Steve.
I'm Steve Smith. I've been on enough of these.
I have ADD.
Yeah. 2 kids, a daughter in a mission right now, and a boy that lives with his mom in Utah.
And you're how old?
I'm not saying.
We don't have to say if we don't want to. All right, Angie.
You can say mid.
I'm Angie.
I wish.
I'm 45.
I know. I
I'm
wish I
never
could say that,
married,
too.
and I have 2 daughters that are 16 and 22. Actually, my 22-year-old is getting married next summer.
Wow.
Yay.
Pretty sad. My
Congratulations.
daughter's getting married before me.
Well, you can be a grandma, though. That could be cool.
Maybe.
That could be cool.
Maybe.
Awesome. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. This time we are going to talk about the topic of how do we know if the person is into us, because Steve doesn't know how to read signals from a woman. So apparently we have to
Let's
discuss
calm
this
this
topic.
down. Simmer down.
I can get away with it because he's not paying attention anyway over there.
I was paying attention.
Uh-huh.
You need to put your phone
I
down.
think you just need to ask him out on a date already.
Oh my gosh, seriously.
Signals.
Do you
Steve
once
and
a
I
year?
have been friends for
Yeah.
3.5 years now. So if you want any more detail, you can call Steve at 435. What was it, Steve?
224-3850.
Yeah, so Steve's put himself out there, open to invitations from ladies that want to call or stalk or whatever.
Stop. If you're taking more than 5 medications at the same time, you don't
More
need to
than
call.
5.
Oh my gosh.
You make a lot of great calls, Steve.
All right, so Steve needs hints about how women...
I don't think just Steve. I think a lot of us do.
Yeah, I think it's very important to know what do I need to do to let men know that I'm interested in them in a healthy way, and what do men need to know to appropriately let me know. And then, I want to be aware of how someone's letting me know. Something came up on a dating challenge website I'm on. A female said, hey, someone said this on the dating app I'm on, and it totally is freaking me out. How should I respond?
What did he say?
Something like, he had put like on all of her photos and
Ooh.
then said,
Stop
hey
it.
there, gorgeous. Or something to that effect.
I don't.
Hey there, beautiful.
That's obviously
Okay.
interesting, but why is that weird to her?
Well,
Scary to her.
that's the thing, is everyone has a different way of receiving or understanding whether someone's interested or not. So,
I tried that, and apparently that's stalkerish.
Right.
to say hey
Yeah,
there. Well, I
that's
think
how-
liking every
that's-
picture is a
that's
little bit
too much.
overboard.
That's too much. I wouldn't want to do that. Nor saying
but
you're
I would
gorgeous, you know.
appreciate knowing if someone was into me. But you're right. Some person's personal perceptions are, I'm going to freak out because that feels not safe. Well, let's break it down. Why does it feel not safe? Preconceived notions, previous experiences, are you safe talking online with someone? Like, are you physically, emotionally safe? Yeah, you're safe. They can say whatever they want, and you can cut them off whenever you want. You can report them whenever you want.
Block.
But if someone says, if that's their unpolished way of saying, wow, I think I'm really interested in getting to know you, by saying, hey there, gorgeous, like all your pictures. If that's their uncoordinated way of showing an expression of interest, well, let's work with that. So what would you do next? And some suggestions were, try and steer the conversation towards something that is conversational interests, what else is on their profile, your profile, and talk about interests. Try and find some common ground or interests.
Yeah, I think I would
But
steer
not-
away from the whole,
But
let's
not
just
freak
talk
out.
about how good looking I am. So I can
Yeah.
see where she would be a little
It's
bit
flattering but
turned
scary,
off,
depending. Yeah.
but not, I don't think I'd be scared. I'd just be like, what? What's wrong with this dude?
See if
I
he's
mean,
truly interested in getting to know you, or if he's just like a player that's just out there flirting with all the girls to see how many will respond back.
But if that's his
Yeah.
training or what he's absorbed from growing up from people around him, that's how you show interest, then that's what he's going to say, not even realizing that, oh, some people, until he learns.
Right.
Oh, some people might.
Well, and there's a difference
Not like
between
that.
what you're doing online and what you're doing in person. I mean,
True.
online
Yeah.
it seems more
Yes.
obvious, doesn't it?
So
if
let's,
someone's
let's
liking
get
your
this down
pictures,
online first.
yeah. So if someone's liking your pictures or sending you a flirt or swiped up on mutual, however, whatever you're on, then you know that they're interested, right, Steve? That's pretty obvious if a girl's liking your pictures.
Yes.
This is coming from a guy who's
I'm
had
not on Facebook.
over
so
two-
liking those pictures.
this is a guy who's had over 200 dates in the last,
In the last
6
6
years.
years.
So if anyone's been successful with getting dates, Steve has been. So I
It's
don't know.
not hard to get the dates. It's asking, usually.
But you've obviously asked at least 200
lot.
times.
Like a
Well,
lot.
okay, so
That's
then
a
what are
lot.
some things that have worked and what are some things that have not worked? Can we go to that?
Sure.
Okay.
We can't have that in. Whatever's going on, I got to talk about it.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Russ? Sure.
Now, I don't really do the online dating thing because I've had bad experiences with catfish.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
They're out there.
there would be like a very beautiful woman on a picture profile and everything, and we talk, and I eventually want to meet her, and then when I actually meet her, she's somebody completely different. It's either a picture of how she looked years ago, or
And
it's a completely different person
Annette
that
told me that's not catfish.
No,
well-
not if it's if it's from the same person, then that's not catfish technically.
But
so
it
when
is
it's-
misleading.
no,
Yes.
in a way, it kind of is
misleading?
because it's misleading. Okay, because when I go to meet my date, I expect her to look the way she does in the picture.
Yeah, you've got to be
Okay.
accurate with your
Right.
pictures.
It doesn't really
That's-
matter what you call it, Steve.
But you know
yes,
what? If
it's
you
bad
want to know what
experiences.
they look
'Cause
like
some of my
before a
pictures have a
date,
beard.
you can have if you want to know what someone looks like, or see if maybe there even is a spark there. Phone calls, Skype, FaceTime, Marco Polo, some way to see or hear and interact with before a
On
first date.
live time.
Is-
Now, when I was doing the whole online dating thing, like back in the 2000s, none of that was really available yet. So I kind
So
of
maybe you should check in again
way.
and see.
yeah,
Right.
check in.
It is
Well-
now.
Well, but
Refresh
the
your
thing is
profile.
my family always had this saying, love finds you when you're not looking for it. So
Oh, gosh.
I stopped looking.
But if
and
you're
just
under
started,
a rock, people, not many
But it
people
didn't
are
find
looking
you,
at
did it?
rocks.
Well, no, but the thing is, I started focusing on myself, what my
Good on
interests
you,
were,
Russ. That's good.
and started just
What's
doing
the matter
those
with
things
living under a rock?
because the thing is if you want to attract somebody, you have to be attractive to someone. That's kind of how the law of attraction works. You have to be the person that you want to attract.
I think
Yes.
we talk about that in a
Healthy.
podcast.
I agree
Annette
with
and I.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
And
you want
I
to,
just have to
being
say, I
healthy.
hate that saying about stop looking for love and it'll find you, because I tried that and it just, it never, whatever.
No,
It just
You
gets
have
really
to-
depressing.
Yes, it
You
is.
can't stop if that's what you want. You have to take steps
No,
to get
it's-
to where you want to go.
Yeah, no,
to get dates, meet women is an active process. You're not
Yes,
going to just
it
find.
is.
You're not just going. It's not going to.
I think that
for
maybe
you.
would work
Yeah.
better for women definitely than for a guy anytime.
It's not working better for women. I'll just tell you that right now.
We're all still single here.
I mean, I think, yes, you shouldn't be obsessed with it. If you're obsessed with it, then you're just going to make yourself crazy. But there are other things you can be doing while you're actively dating or actively pursuing, or like us ladies, actively making ourselves what we think of as obviously interested.
Wait, how do you do that?
Oh, okay, you want
That's
an
really the
example.
topic
Let's just
today.
jump to
That's the
Steve.
topic.
That's our
a good
topic.
question.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I'm online on Facebook,
Okay, I'm not on Facebook.
okay, if I'm on Planet, I like a picture. And even I usually don't even do that. I have a lovely profile that basically says who I am. It's got plenty of pictures. You've seen my profile. You saw my profile just the other day, didn't you, Steve? And it's pretty obvious that I'm there, what I look like, that I'm available for dating. Occasionally I'll like a guy's picture. Then that's pretty obvious. If I flirt with him online, it's pretty obvious.
So
Or if
how do
I'm
you-
on Mutual, I swipe up.
Okay, so you're on Mutual, you swipe up, we're a match.
Uh-huh.
I send a hello. Do you respond? Because
Yes.
98% of the women out there don't.
After
Yeah,
they already
that's
swiped that they
after-
want.
Yeah,
When you- yeah.
even after a match.
I think some people.
I could go down the whole list. There's
I think
tons
some people
of them
swipe
that
up
never
on
match.
everybody just to see if they get a response, because I've swiped up, had a match, and had the guy never reach out. So it goes both ways.
Yes, this is what I'm learning from this dating challenge. They've done videos and training, which is basic training, but very interesting, and I'm finding success with it. So when there's a hello, you're not giving me anything to work with. Give me something to work with. Hey, I noticed something on your profile, ask a question.
Why not just a hello back, and then I'll at least know you're legit, or you're even a person, or that you'd even have a
I can see that
conversation.
point. It's just not as persuasive.
You want to keep it open-ended, like
Yeah.
to leading into something.
Yeah.
Is that what
What
you're
Most
about
of the
you
time
say
when I've
hello?
been,
An icebreaker. Make some kind of small talk, small conversation icebreaker.
Well,
Something-
referring to something in your profile.
So
is
now,
good.
so now you're
Yes.
going
Right.
back to what's a pickup line?
But
It's
what
not
if,
Oh dear.
but what if they say hello back? Now what?
Okay, yes.
Then
so they say
I'll ask some questions, and then I'll go into what's on
So
your profile.
what kind of a
or-
question would you ask?
Depends on what's on their profile. I'd dig out
Okay.
something out of the
Take
See,
that
profile.
that's kind of
Yeah.
where we're going for the
Good.
first
That's good.
question,
Yeah.
but you do with the
Well, see,
second.
I have,
So you can
I have
just
a
skip
friend.
that
Right.
and go straight to the question.
that's what,
It's just a more successful start. It's a more energy packed, inviting, motivating start.
Yeah,
A
if a
friend
guy
and
refers
I-
to my profile in the first reach out or contact, I'm more impressed because he actually read my profile. Because one of my biggest complaints on Planet is that I get flirts, likes, whatever. Or first of all, send an email. Don't just flirt or like my picture. You know,
Well,
that's
the
takes nothing.
The
Send an
problem is
email
on
and wait.
Planet,
You have to
you've got-
wait.
On
Steve.
Planet, you've got that search thing which says like or yes or no.
Oh, I know,
right?
and so you get a dumb little flirt.
Yeah.
You're
That's what
right.
everybody-
I
That's
don't
on
like
the
that.
app. You don't have to use
that.
that.
No,
on the
it's
site.
You don't have
it's
to
on
use
the
it.
full site.
It's
but-
on the site, but you don't have to
You don't
use
have
it
to
on the
use it.
site.
But that's what. a lot
But
of
that's what
people
happens.
do.
You're right. Because
Yeah.
I will say yes to someone and they'll get a little flirt message from
Right.
me. But when they just flirt message back without an actual email, it's so annoying. And the second thing is, my profile says like within the first line, I'm only interested in dating local guys. And yet I get flirts and likes from guys all over the country. And it's like, you're not reading my profile. Why am I going to message you back when you're not even looking at my
Waste
profile?
of time. Get out of town.
Yeah, read my profile.
Uh-huh.
You know, and if you're local and you read my profile and you seem decent, you know, I'll initiate or I'll respond to contact. I might initiate. The few times that I've initiated, it hasn't gone anywhere. That's another one of the reasons why I don't
Yeah,
think women should be
most of-
asking men out.
Most of the initiations, like when I initiate a conversation, so the other thing is respond within 24 hours, always respond within 24 hours when they've started a conversation. If it's a flirt or a hi or a hello, just leave it and let them be the man and start that conversation. But if they don't, then just leave it. You can respond within 48 hours if you want to, or sooner. You don't have to. But usually give them some time to start the conversation once you've expressed interest with a like on a picture. But one of the rules too is flirt. You can't send a flirt. You have to send a like or a swipe, and then get the conversation going, because you don't want to have that conversation going for a long time, but long enough to let both people feel comfortable that they're getting to know the other person, and then and then try and go for a phone number, some way of getting to know them before the first date.
Okay, and
I have a
also,
funny story about that,
oh,
if you want to hear it.
sure.
I was on a fishing trip with one of my friends, and he's single. And he was telling me his funny stories, and a lady, they started messaging, flirting back and forth on Planet. And she said, "Ha ha, are you really 5'4"?
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, that doesn't,
Really nice,
that doesn't
huh?
sound very nice, yeah.
So he responded back, "Ha ha, are you really just a few pounds out?"
So they're not interested in dating.
Really?
Well, you know what? It's funny because I've been reading this book that Emily had sent to me first, but it's her book, and it's called Have Him at Hello, Confessions from 1,000 Guys About What Makes Them Fall in Love or Never Call Back. And one of the things they talk about here is electronic communication and how you have to be really careful about the way you come across. Because I can't imagine she would really want to come across that way. But that sure did sound rude.
Yeah.
Of course, if I were him at that point, I would just walk away from it instead of having to be snarky back. Or I might have said something like, do you not like short men? And just because, but she's saying, you're not supposed to get into like insulting each other,
No
right?
way.
I mean, the
Keep
point
it
is to find
positive.
people to date.
Because is that the kind of person you want?
Sarcasm.
If they're at their best, then is that the kind of person you want to marry? No.
But what she's saying, it's really easy to be misinterpreted and to not send like texts or emails that you did not look over before you sent because you
Yeah.
don't want to come across as illiterate either.
So then give it a chance. If something comes to you with that sounds really rude or not very well written, still give it a chance.
Clarify, see if you can get some clarification
Yeah.
because maybe they messed up. They didn't mean to do it. I mean, I know I've been misinterpreted and I have received stuff from guys that
Yeah.
have been
Forgiveness
easily
skills.
misinterpreted.
Like the phone translate or the...
Yeah.
Google
I
Translate.
hate that.
Or they just don't realize how that came across. They like sent it really quickly and didn't realize, oh. So that's why she's
Like
like,
when you do
might-
voice to text and get those autocorrects in there. You're like,
Okay,
whoa.
so
Yikes.
back on topic. If a woman flirts with you or actually starts a conversation, how do you know?
Are you talking about online or in person?
Okay, if we're in person,
it's
how do you know
separate.
that there's a flirt?
How do you know someone's interested in
How do you
you?
know
That's
it's
what
just being friendly?
Well, I think in person, if they'll keep a conversation going with you too, because I think if you meet somebody in person, let's say you're at a group gathering for some reason, and you meet somebody, if they want to stand there and talk to you and spend a lot of time with you, then there's an interest. But if they start asking questions about you, trying to get to know you or something, I think that's more of an interest. But if they just are like the conversation kind of lags or they kind of walk away, then maybe they're really not interested.
Oh.
But it has to be repeated times too. Like maybe they just need a break or they want to meet other people at the event. But it seems like as much as you invest in a person, they should be investing back, and as much as someone invests in you, you should be investing back.
Yep.
When there's interest. If that investment isn't there over a short period of time, maybe, I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
5 interactions or more, I don't know, something. But when you notice they're not asking you questions, they're answering but they're not asking, that's more of like a acquaintance friend kind of
But they're not
conversation back
really
and forth, but they're not that
caring
into
to
you.
get to know
Yeah,
you.
I think
No.
Angie, sorry Russ, I'm going to cut off the guys for a minute,
go
just
for it.
because Steve needs to know when ladies are flirting with him. And so I think Angie's right, and I'm thinking about in my own interactions when I'm flirting with a guy. And yeah, usually what I'll do is if I'm at a fireside or a party or something, I will find a way to get close enough to the guy to start a conversation or to at least be open to a conversation. So if a guy sees me coming up to him more than once, and I am engaging him and I'm still keep asking him questions like Angie said, and I'm smiling and I'm maybe laughing, or maybe there's a little touch in there. Because usually if you like a guy, you're going to make sure that he
Or
gets
get
that.
close,
You
or-
get close enough, you touch, you act interested, you keep talking, you ask questions. You're obviously trying to send him the message you're interested. Whereas if I don't like a guy, if I'm not interested in getting to know him better, I'm looking around the room.
sometimes a
I'm
guy
finding
would
someone
just
else I wanna
interpret
talk
that
to.
as being friendly.
It is friendly, but you
Are they
need to
single?
start
Be aggressive
trying.
and ask them out.
Yeah.
Try
Well,
going
I
forward
would
with it.
interpret a lot of that as just being friendly.
Well, I'm letting you know that if a girl does
In a
that,
single,
it's flirting.
In a single event, like a fireside, like Annette was talking about, or a dance or something. When a woman does that, to me, that's not. They're just being friends. They're interested. There's some interest there, and they want to see where it goes.
Like I would say, like, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Drew.
So I look for those signals. If there's some connection, we keep talking. She's interested, and I'm interested. Then that to me is they're not just wanting to be friends. They're wanting to get to know you.
So, okay, how do you, so let's say that there's a lady that I would want to talk to. How do I break into their little herd?
Oh, I try to do that all the time.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Walk up and start interacting.
Yes. As long as you're confident.
They just turn and shut you
No.
out.
It can be tough.
See?
But if you act
Derek-
confident enough, at
Derek's
least
got
the
me.
women I know
Yeah, I
will
want to hear
allow
Derek's
the men in.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But let me
Go
hear.
ahead, Derek.
Derek.
Normally I try to be a pretty friendly guy to everybody in general, and sometimes that happens where you're trying to get closer to this person or whatever. So normally her group of friends, maybe I'll try to find a friend that I have in there, and I'll kind of just start talking them up a little bit, and then just kind of move to the next person, say some things, whatever. And I kind of, because I don't want to make it too like obvious that, hi, my name is Derek. How are you?
And I'm here for you and you only.
Yeah.
Why not?
So it can, if they don't know you very well and their friends really don't know you, that can come off as like, whoa, hi, whatever, bro. So I try to slowly bring my way into their group of friends, see what they're interested in, learn a little bit, and slowly work my way and to the girl, because I talk to her friends. Now I'm just being the same as I'm being with everybody else. I didn't go straight to her and be like, hi. I went to everybody else, and I'm coming to her in the same manner. And, I just try to strike up a conversation about maybe what we're talking about, or what we're interested in, or we're talking about going to the, eating somewhere or doing something, and I'll try to, start to find out what she likes, find out what she's interested in, and, just try to make it very casual, because I want it to be another thing where at another time I'll ask them out. But I want them to start knowing to be comfortable around me.
You're laying the groundwork.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just slowly make the moves to, and I find out who their friends are, because if you're friends with their friends, it's a lot easier.
You wouldn't just put your phone number out on a podcast.
No.
To each their own.
I mean, I'm happy that you have the guts to do that, but dude, I wouldn't be surprised if people started prank calling you.
But what I've been doing recently is I'll ask out. I know I have a friend who's a friend with them, and I'll ask them to go out together. So then we go out together, and now we've been out and we've been out with friends. So now they're like almost my friend. We're more comfortable. Then I can maybe ask them out more personally on like maybe one-on-one, because I want them to be comfortable around me, like with their friends. So we're more group. They feel comfortable, and now we can get more of a thing with us going, where they don't feel like, I can't date that guy. I don't even know him. That guy's a weirdo. That guy's just coming up and be like, hi, girl. You're so pretty.
What's the difference from online? You don't know them a lot of times when you go out on that first date.
I think it's...
Spice Girls totally sings a song about this. Wanna? If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my
All
friends.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
good.
not... Yeah.
That's
I
good.
think the
Now
other
we're
one's right.
referring to Spice Girls for advice.
Well, okay. Here's the thing about online, okay?
Now that
The
song's in
thing
my head.
is, whatever you type, they cannot hear the voice that behind the words, okay? So you might think you're coming across as humor, but because they can't hear your voice, they don't know that, and so
Yeah, do not-
they're interpreting
Sarcasm
the words.
is the worst.
That's
thing.
why you got to use
Their
a mirror.
voice.
That's why you have to have the little smile emoji.
Maybe, but you can only take that so far. So when you're online, it's really just to, let's establish some commonality. Are we interested in each other? Are we interested just in talking? So when you have verbal phone, there's some things you can do there, but that's still limited because you don't have the look, the micro expressions, the undertone like comments of whether it's a joke or not, or you need that facial expression. You need to be there in person. So whether it's an app that lets you see them and hear them before you go out on a date, if that's
Like
what you want to
Marco
do,
Polo.
or like Marco Polo or FaceTime or Skype. To have something like that. So this online dating is just getting you to am I interested in this person? Could I meet with this person and talk with them in public for 30 minutes, kind of a thing? And then moving on to, so it does take a while.
So-
You're not going to know right away if they're really super interested in you.
I
And maybe
just-
they're interested, but there's just not this chemistry, this spark between you guys. And it's a process, and you have to be patient with the process.
And maybe it's because I'm not patient, but when I start getting a few messages back and forth, especially if somebody's local, we can do
Say
this
local
back
or
and
local?
local.
Well, they could be local and local.
Yeah, you could be.
We can do this back and forth, or we can just meet. I'd
Yeah.
like to buy you dinner. We
I
can meet
think
in a
let's just
public
meet.
place.
I think if you're both,
great.
if you're local and there's been enough interest on both sides, I would rather just meet and get it over with. Honestly, I really don't want to go back and forth with texting and stuff, just because I feel like you start to
goes
build
nowhere.
stuff up in your mind,
Yeah.
and you start picturing this person to be a certain way and get all excited and everything, and then you meet in person and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
That's happened to me many times. Where I
Now the truth comes out.
no, because my mind does not like a question mark. It likes a period or an exclamation point. And so when I see pictures of a guy online, and I read his profile, and we message back and forth for a little while, I start picturing him to be a certain way. And it's not like I want to. It's just that happens. There's something needs to fill the vacuum, right? And so then I meet him in person, and it might not be that there's anything wrong with him. It's just not what I was picturing. So it's much better. Let's just meet. Let's meet at a restaurant and hang out for 2 hours, and
See, I'm not much of a restaurant kind of person. I've had the experiences with restaurants and dates, and I gotta tell you, it just feels very awkward. And so, what I do is I learned this from watching an episode of Cobra Kai, where Daniel's
the best dating advice comes
daughter
from.
goes on a date with Johnny Lawrence's protege, and he says,
I think you lost about 90% of the
"Oh
audience.
no! This
Okay.
is where it
Okay,
comes
keep
in."
it
He says, "Don't go to restaurants. Take her out to a fun center, like a carnival or something, and just do some fun activities together. So that way you get to know each other, and you're both very relaxed, and you're confident, and things can progress from there." So what I do is I apply that, and I say, "Hey, I hope if you're interested in going to an escape room, let's do an escape room challenge." And it'd be even better if it's like a double date, because then you can have a team, and you go into the escape room and you just solve the little puzzle and everything, and you walk out and you just have so much fun. Okay, activities like that are a lot more fun than sitting at a table eating food and talking, because both of you are just kind of very nervous and not really sure about everything, and because of the nerves and all the butterflies you feel and everything, it just feels
I think that's
awkward.
the gluten intolerance.
It could be. But
I think
you want to be
activity-
relaxed. You want to be relaxed. You want to be confident.
Yeah.
And my opinion, do something that involves any form of activity, whether it be escape rooms or hiking or Boondocks Fun Center,
You can go to the zoo.
or go to the zoo.
Go to the aquarium.
But whatever it is, make sure it's not like an all-day thing. 4 hours is a long time if it's a first date. So 2 hours, closer
Yeah.
to 2 hours.
Yeah.
is-
I'm of the same.
I
I think that's why people do
dinner.
dinner, because it's pretty. It's a short set
Pretty
time.
standard slash. What if I want to
Well,
escape you?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
escape
exactly.
Yeah,
rooms are
'cause you might.
45 minutes to an hour, and all you're doing is solving a puzzle. What better
Yeah.
way to get to?
So that's a
work-
great idea.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
establish that in your conversations of interest with that person, whether it's however it is you're.
I would say, and then you
conversing
take them
with
to
someone.
ice cream after or something. I think that's a really good idea as far as having fun, but I think you also need a chance to talk.
Yeah.
So, I like the hike idea. I have what I call the Annette date, where I will have a guy meet me over here to take a hike over at the Bluffs.
You need to take a hike.
Yeah, and then I take a hike. If I don't like him, I could just take a hike. No. It's about an hour long, fairly easy hike. You get an hour to talk and be outside, but you're walking. And so side-by-side talking is really good because it's more casual than across the table talking.
Yeah.
And so you
It's
walk,
less
you take that walk,
confrontational.
yeah, and then
Body
we go to
language.
dinner. And so it's about an hour for the hike, about an hour, hour and a half maybe for dinner. And if we really like each other, we might go for pie or something. But I think this book I've been reading, The Have Met Hello, she talks about how to get, the goal for a woman in a first date is to get to a second date. And one of the things she talks about is
Part of the time.
well, that's your goal going into it.
Yeah,
Maybe not
if your
coming
end
out of
goal
it.
is serious relationship / marriage, then
keep it going.
you want to keep it going.
But this kind of goes
Exactly.
to what
If you're
Russ said
interested in
about
it,
having
though.
fun. Yes. The point she's making is that you really don't know during a first date. You're not really getting who the person is. And so what happens is, from the guy's perspective, and I think probably from the girl's perspective, is that a lot of times they say certain things or do certain things, and you extrapolate from that this person is this certain stereotype. And then you never ask them out again. The guy does. Or the woman might be like, I never want to go out with him again. And that could be some offhand comment. Like, I went on a date last weekend, and I think it went pretty well, but I think I came across as too businesslike, and so I might have fallen into the what they call the boss lady category, where the guy's like, oh, I would love to hire her, but I don't feel romantic.
So
Or
you ended the date at exactly an hour.
right. No, I did have a guy that do that to me though, at exactly 2 hours. I swear it was from 6 to 8. But
I did it to
anyway,
you twice.
yeah,
didn't
that was. But I went out with him 3 times, which is interesting. But anyway, the guy from last weekend, and I think also I mentioned that I don't want to live in Denver forever. Because I don't like the snow. And so I think sometimes people hear something like that and they think, well, I want to live in Denver forever, so we'll just never go out again. So they hear something
Yeah, don't
like
send
that.
absolutes.
And yet, if you
Oh, we were talking
if you
about-
took me on a second or a third date, you might find that, if I fell in love with you, I'd probably consider living in Denver forever if you were, But you don't know that on a first date, and so you take something and you make an assumption about it, and then you just never ask that person out again. And so what she says is that you need to try and not talk about things that can be misconstrued and make it more about having fun and letting them see your personality, but not talking about things that might be misconstrued. So that goes to Russ's idea of a play area, or not, I'm thinking McDonald's also. Not a play area, but something where it's more fun and you just get to kind of showcase your personality. So that kind of does work.
I guess I was thinking back to where we were talking about what signs to tell you if someone likes you. I think you also have to look at when you're barely getting to know someone, if you're interested in them, watching what you say too, because you could turn them off at that point. And like along the lines of being sarcastic, or like you said, your absolutes of things, and they'd say, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I don't think I even want to date that person.
Yeah, like I shouldn't talk about how terrible my oldest daughter can be, although she's gotten much better. But there are some things that you really don't need to get into. Like, you don't need to talk about if you have endometriosis, is one of the things she's mentioned in the book.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, like,
God.
apparently a lot of women
TMI.
talk about things. I mean, she says that some guy was like, I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good.
So I guess if a girl isn't interested in a guy, just talk about those types of things that'll make them uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I
If
just
you hear
want to
that-
be married and I want to have children, and I was thinking about it all day, and
That'll be a way to be like, yeah, I don't think she's interested. She's telling me way too much.
Yeah.
Well, I think it all just boils down to what you say versus what the other person hears.
Is perceiving, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
perception is reality.
And sometimes what you say can be a lot different than what he's hearing. And because he hears certain things, it can kind of come across as a bit either abrasive or desperate or whatever.
So you hope
you're
he's
saying.
willing to be forgiving enough to give you a second chance. That he's willing to look past whatever might have been a nervous situation, nervous things said or done out of being nervous. You hope they give you a second chance.
You would hope so, but what she says in the book is that there are so many, now with online dating, men have the idea or the impression that there's always another woman to take out. So
So
why?
do women have the same.
Yeah, but this is from, I think women might have the same perspective, but we all know in the church that there's like a ton more women than there are men.
Depends on
I
what
cut you
state
off,
you're in.
Russ, when I
No,
come. I'm sorry.
It does depend on what
Another
state
thing
you're in.
that you ladies need to know about in the manosphere is that a lot of times.
There's a manosphere.
Is this a place? Where do I get that?
Oh, no.
How do I get there?
I want to go hang in the manosphere.
It's not on my journey.
Because
I'd like to know the
I
woman's sphere.
can tell you a lot of things from our perspective. Okay, a lot of us have this preconceived notion that a lot of women have at least 10 to 15 guys' phone numbers in their phone, and so what happens is the date may be going well, and he might want to pursue it and everything, and then all of a sudden she just loses, and he feels like she just loses interest, and then contacts another guy number 2 on the phone.
That goes
and,
to rules of dating. You don't look at yourself on another date.
And the thing is, it's like when we assume that there are 10 to 15 guys on your phone, we kind of feel like we're in competition here, and because we feel like we're in competition, we just assume that it's a rigged game. Okay.
But if she's spending time with you, she's obviously interested in you. If she didn't want to go on this date with you, she could have said no and gone on with these other guys.
Well, but I've had an experience where a woman I kind of liked went on a date with me to be polite, and I assumed that she was interested. And next thing I know, she was dating a guy all along. She just wanted to spend time with me because she thought it was the right thing to do. But she was seeing some other guy while she was with me.
Like, I always think to myself, are you going on a second date? Because first dates, like I always say, like, first dates are polite. I don't know you. Why shouldn't we go on a first date?
But the thing is she was seeing this guy long before she met me, but she never told me that.
Well,
and
talking to someone and getting to know someone but not being serious,
right?
That's different.
We can just be going out because you asked.
But the thing is, she kind of sent out the wrong signals. I assumed that she was interested based on the things she was saying.
Or maybe she wanted to get to know you and see if there was a spark, and then she realized, no, there's not a spark.
Yeah,
but still, it comes back to communication. Like, be open about
still,
that.
I kind of felt played because she was seeing this other guy.
Is this a manosphere thing? Do you guys all think that
unfortunate.
women have 10 to 12 guys in their phone that they
No.
can just call?
I don't think so.
Because I can tell you I don't.
I don't think women do. And if a woman is going out with someone else and me, that's fine with me.
Right.
But I
that's
do.
okay unless
trying
the
to get
relationship
exclusive.
progressed to a certain point, where you both decide you want to be exclusive.
Right.
I
But
do
until
often
that point,
wonder-
I think I'm dating multiple women now. And
Playa.
Yeah, so I'm not
There
a
you go,
player.
Drew.
I'm interested in getting to know them.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to
You
get
know,
to
That's
see
the way
where
it's
they
supposed
go.
to work.
Going
I
on
do.
dates and being exclusive.
Yeah,
that's
you
two
keep
separate
dating
things.
several
Right.
people until
I do
you
have
A
decide
lot
you're
of, in a
exclusive.
lot of cultures, though, in our society today, if you go on a date, there's an expectation that that's the only person you're dating.
Oh,
No,
that's
But in
not
our,
what's
in our
going on.
culture, it's not.
Yeah.
And I don't
No.
feel uncomfortable with that at all.
No.
No.
I do find it funny that women, and I think more than men, the women will have to tell me, I think that women will have a guy that they've gone out a few times, and that women still want to continue shopping instead of building a relationship with that guy that's right there that might want to be interested.
I think that depends on the girl.
That depends on where
And on
she's
the
at.
Guy.
And if she's
Yeah.
interested enough in that guy.
Right.
Right.
It's
But
not
I see
generic.
that a lot with the guys that I know, and
In the womanosphere, we...
Fair game.
I was waiting, just waiting for an opening. If there's a guy I've been out with a few times, I'm not looking. It depends on how those dates went, and if I liked him, then I'm going to keep dating him. But until I decided that he's the one I want to be exclusive with, then I'm still open. I may still be shopping if those 2 dates were not.
Like maybe the 3
Great.
date rule.
Yeah,
kind
maybe.
Of thing, right?
No, I think
Like,
you're right. I think 3
3
dates.
dates?
Steve, if you just have a 3-date rule that says
I do.
at 3 dates.
You do. You do.
Yeah. Well, I like to. The experts all say that you should go out on 3 dates because the first one you can be really nervous, things don't go right.
Yeah.
That you should really try it 3 times.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
But I think a lot of it, what I'm hearing is a self-confidence issue. If you have self-confidence, then it really doesn't matter what happens on your dates. I mean, you do your best.
You accept that's
If
what it
it's
is.
not a
That's where
match,
they're at.
you move on because you know
Yeah.
someone eventually will
Right.
come along.
Right.
And if you don't have self-confidence,
We
then
all hope that somebody will come along.
Well,
Yeah.
you just have to be aggressive and take the steps to where you want to be. If this one didn't work out, you have to take the next progressive steps. You can't just be like, well, it's never going to happen for me. I quit.
Well, no, but the thing is, it's like
That's what we should do.
now.
Quit.
Now I think there's a difference between quitting and taking a break because I do think you need to work on yourself and try to maybe gain a few attributes along the way, and focus on your goals and dreams in addition to dating.
Well, is one of your goals dating?
Is one of the goals dating? Absolutely.
Right.
But I need to be the type of person that is attractive. And to do that, I'm working on myself, focusing on fun things that I like to do, and you know what? I meet women that are interested in doing the same things, and the first thing I like to do is I like to have an icebreaker. I like to have kind of like a casual conversation with them, just to kind of see if we mesh, and if there's interested, if they're
Reciprocating interest.
yes, thank you. If we're reciprocating interest, then I'll say, okay, you know what? Let's go do something crazy and fun, and we'll do like I say, escape room, whatever, like yada yada yada. And a lot of times you say, yeah, okay, sure. And then, we'll go out and have fun. We'll go out, have a good time. And then, whether or not we want to pursue that, like I say, it really just depends on what her schedule is, what mine is, and what would be a date that we can meet on, because everybody's busy. And a lot of times women have very busy schedules. And if you want to meet on a certain day that she's not available, then she's going to tell you. But it also depends on how she tells you and if she's interested. Because for me, if she's interested and she'll say something like, I'm not really available on that day, but I'd love to meet with you on this day. Will this work?
Yeah.
That to me shows a little initiative on her part.
Yeah.
And I find that to be a huge benefit, because to me it's attractive.
That's how you
That's
know if
healthy
someone's interested.
communication.
If a lady gives you
Yeah,
a
that's
second
right.
alternative, she's interested. If she doesn't, she's probably not.
That's kind
To
of
me,
my
that's always the clearest
Yeah.
Yep.
a signal that she's interested. If she
And
can't do
also-
it that date, she offers alternatives.
Yes. And
If she
also,
doesn't offer alternatives, then I think she's probably,
not.
a little less interested.
Yeah.
That
Or
always
maybe
comes down
overwhelmed in
yeah.
the moment.
to
But
ask
you don't
like
wanna
my
try too
two
many
ask
times.
out rule, because girls do that sometimes. Sometimes they're busy for reals. But if you ask them out again and they say they're busy, it's because they're not interested.
yeah.
If you ask them out
Which
a
is
second,
unfortunate. They should be able to
Right.
say, I appreciate being friends and doing activities with you, but I'm not interested in you that way.
Right, but I would say you ask them out. Sometimes that
Or
really does happen. They're busy, but like I say, after a second time, if I ask you out again, especially if you've already been on a date, and you turn me down for whatever the reason is, whatever, I don't care what it is. After that, I just know you're not interested. You're just kind of trying to push it.
Well, and I appreciate a woman that's very direct with me. One time I did ask out a girl, and I only asked her out once. And she looked at me and she says, you know what, Russ?
Not even on your birthday.
She didn't say that. She wasn't that cruel. But she said, you know what, Russ? I'm not really interested. You're not my type, and I'd appreciate it if you don't ask me out again. Now, I got to tell you, I felt really burned. I was angry, and I felt totally disrespected. But I will tell you this. She was honest with me. She let me know how she felt. And as a result, I gained respect for her. I don't like people that beat around the bush and make lame excuses. Because when you do that, not only do I know that you're not interested, but that tells me that you're a bit flaky. And I don't deal flaky.
That's
Well, I think
another
it's-
podcast.
I think it's a
Lame
Mormon culture
excuses.
thing too. Is that we all want to be nice to our brothers and sisters and all that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think
You don't wanna hurt
women don't want to
somebody's
hurt someone's feelings, and so they're a little bit too wimpy to say. Because I'll say, thank you. I just don't feel a connection. Then leave it at that. I do want to say, because we're going to have to wrap it up here pretty soon, but I do want to say what Russ said about taking a break versus quitting is important, because I think a lot of times you do it for a while. You're doing your best out there. You date and you date and you date, and you're not. I always feel like I'm always dating and never in a relationship, and it gets to be old after a while. And so sometimes I say, you know what? Like right now, I feel like I can go for a while without going on a date and be totally cool, because I just want to take a break from it. I've got plenty of other things going on I need to work on, and I'm not saying I'm walking away from ever. I'm not quitting. I'm just saying, if I take a few weeks or a month off and I'm not actively pursuing anything, then that's cool. It gives me a little perspective, and then I'll come back in, because I don't want to get bitter. I don't want to become, all men are this, or all men are that, or I'm never going to get married. I don't want to go there. It'd be too easy to get frustrated like that. So I'd rather just take a break and say, I'm going to work on my career. I'm going to deal with my kids and all that, and I'll revisit the dating thing later. So I think it's okay to take a break, and if that's what it takes to not
Yep.
get burned
Agreed.
out and bitter.
Yeah.
So
That's taking good care of yourself.
yes,
And that's what you need to do to be effective at dating, is Take good care of yourself. If you need a break,
Yeah,
take a
and
break.
if you're feeling frustrated, it's going to come out in other parts of your life too.
Right.
So,
That's right. I just really appreciate when women are honest, and say, I'm not interested in you that way. Thanks for asking. Or
yeah.
something
I
like that.
appreciate men
really
being
appreciate,
open
I really
that way,
appreciate
too.
that.
Once had a girl who told me,
Yeah.
I would never go on a date with you.
Oh God!
I was like,
ooh, that's a real put down.
It hurt
That
me. It hurt me
is-
for a
that's
second, but I was
harsh.
like, at least
Wow.
she was straightforward. I mean,
Yikes.
Yeah.
There can be
I-
kinder ways
it's a
to
little bit
say it.
rude,
Yeah.
but it was straight. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
I was
women
hurt for a
need to
second,
be,
let it go.
women that are listening, it's
So-
okay. You make it clear without being rude about
Rude.
it. I think we
Yeah.
can say, thank you for asking me out, but I'm just not interested. Really? Or I just
You could
don't
always
feel
So
preface
if
it
I
with, I
hear-
don't mean to be rude, but. No.
Oh, then they're going to say something rude if they say that. So,
If I hear on a phone call, for example, ask someone out, or even ask them ask them out, and then suddenly let's I'm really busy, can't do that, something like that, then that's a signal they're not interested, and they're just not willing to tell me that. So
I think a lot of people don't want to hurt the other person.
Yeah.
Like even though
Yeah.
they're not interested, they don't want to be the person that's the bearer of the bad news, or that
Right.
they're afraid they're going to hurt their feelings, and they're like, it's kind of like, how do you say no without them taking, negatively?
well, and a lot of
Women-
times you want to be friends with the person too. And so you
Yeah,
don't want to,
yeah.
you don't want to
True.
burn a bridge.
True
You just want
Right,
to,
right.
I would rather you hurt my feelings being honest with me than beat around the bush and make a lame excuse.
Yeah.
Sometimes I almost agree.
Okay?
Like, woman up.
yeah,
Put your big girl panties on.
right.
Woman up.
In the woman-sphere, we all need to
In the woman's
be
sphere,
a little
woman up.
more clear.
I've got a friend with a very famous phone number, and I will tell you that a lot of women give his phone number out to guys.
What?
His phone number is 801-867-5309. And a lot of women give those out to guys because he gets calls and voicemails and everything all the
So
time.
if the guy doesn't get it, I'm not interested anyway. 867. Who doesn't know 867-5309?
Probably half
it's
the
his
people.
real
listen.
Millennials.
Do you know it, Derek?
No.
No.
See?
There's
It's
an
an
old
age.
Do you know
I
it?
don't either.
I know it. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
It's from
It's a
the songs.
generational
I
thing
don't.
then.
Say the name of the
It's a
song.
song from the 80s.
Yeah, from the
It's
80s.
Jenny.
Tommy
Jenny,
Two-Tone.
I got
Yeah.
your number. I want to make you mine. All right, come on. You got 867-5309.
So it's better. My point is, it's better to be honest than give some bogus phone number.
So women are still giving that out?
Oh, all the time.
That's hilarious.
All
But you
the
know,
time.
that's
That
more
is funny.
humorous because in the early to mid 2000s there was what was called the rejection hotline.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
very popular.
I remember that.
And a lot of women gave that out to guys that they weren't interested in.
And they would,
Fake numbers.
that's one
Oh,
way to do it.
interesting.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for your contributions. Hopefully, Steve has a better idea now.
We all have fully all. We don't
We all
pick
have
on
better
anyone.
ideas.
We'll coach him after. All right, so thank you guys for contributing and joining me today. And you all can find my podcast on AnnetteTalks.com. Please contribute to the discussion. Please discuss and
Listen to the podcast.
Yes.
Comment. We'd like to get some
feedback and some discussion going.
discussions going. If you've got a topic you want to hear, we love getting groups of people together. It's a lot of fun.
Experiences that have worked or haven't worked.
Yeah, call Steve on the number you gave earlier. Or you can email me at AnnetteTalks.com. Either way, listen, subscribe, talk. Join us here again at LDS Unmarried Life, where LDS singles gather.
I'm gonna bloom where I'm planted. I won't take things for granted. Come what may, bring it on. I'm gonna love it.